Good evening and welcome to the City of Pasco Council meeting. The council thanks you for being a part of our city government. At these meetings, the city council takes formal actions on items, holds public hearings, and conducts other business of the city. Following the Healthy Washington Roadmap to Recovery Phase 3 requirements, the city council may conduct in-person meetings while continuing to provide remote access to the building to meetings until the Washington state restrictions are lifted. Therefore, facial masks are required to be worn at all times while in the council chambers. If any individual is unable to comply with this order, then the meeting will be recessed until compliance is met. If compliance is not met and the individual refuses to leave the chambers, then the meeting will reconvene only virtually or be adjourned. Agenda packets are available on the City of Pasco's website at www.pasco-wa.gov/agenda. Please note that the City Council meetings may be accessed through GoToWebinar. This meeting is also being televised live on Pasco TV channel 191, on Spectrum Cable in Pasco and Richland, and is streamed on the city's Facebook page, website, and YouTube channel. This and previous council meeting video is available on the city's website. And lastly, the public may submit their comments and/or questions by contacting the city manager or city clerk or using the feedback form on the city's website page. So with that, housekeeping's out of the way, and we'll have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Alvarado,
Present.
Maloney,
Present.
Milne,
Present.
Roach,
Present.
Serrano,
Serrano is excused tonight,
Mayor Pro Tem Barajas,
Present.
and Mayor Martinez.
and I'm present.
Great, thanks.
Thank you for that. And may we all rise for the flag salute, please. And you know, tonight, I've been waiting to do this for a while, but if you don't mind, and I hate to put it on the spot, but Brisa Hernandez, would you like to lead us in the flag salute, please? You can come right on up here. Brisa Hernandez is a special guest tonight, and you can just stand right here, and you can lead us in the flag salute. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Brisa. So next, tonight, we have a consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by a roll call vote as one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If further discussion is desired by council members or the public, the item may be removed from the consent agenda to the regular agenda and considered separately. The first item on the consent agenda is to approve the minutes of the Pasco City Council meeting held on May 3rd, 2021, and a workshop held on May 10th, 2021. Next is bills and communications to approve claims in the total amount of $4,491,754.30, and to approve bad debt write-off for utility billing, ambulance, cemetery, general accounts, miscellaneous accounts, and municipal court accounts receivable in the total amount of $198,235.07. And of that amount, authorize zero to be turned over for collections at this time. Next on the consent agenda is the ordinance to adopt ordinance number 4536 relating to lots without public street frontage and amending section 21.10.060 lots without public street frontage of the Pasco Municipal Code, and further authorize publication by summary only. And item D is to approve resolution number 4058, authorizing the city manager to execute amendment number 3 for the professional services agreement with Murray Smith for the construction support services for the wastewater treatment plant improvements phase 1 project. And item E of the consent agenda is to approve resolution number 4059, modifying the scope of work in the professional services agreement with Columbia Safety LLC for the COVID-19 vaccination sites. So with that, that is the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
A second.
Okay, so there's been a motion to move to approve the consent agenda and has been seconded by Councilmember Alvarado. And may we have a roll call on that, please?
Yes. Councilmember Alvarado,
Yes.
Maloney,
Yes.
Milne,
Yes.
Roach,
Yes.
Barajas,
Yes.
and Martinez.
Yes.
Great.
So it passes unanimously. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we go to proclamations and acknowledgements. And tonight, I'm very excited and I'm just ecstatic about this particular acknowledgement. We have a Pasco High School student, Brisa Hernandez, who is the recipient of the Associated of Washington City Center for Quality Community Scholarship. And at this time, if Brisa Hernandez would like to come to the podium, please. I'd like to read this letter from the Association of Washington Cities. It says, congratulations on behalf of the AWC Center for Quality Communities. It gives me great pleasure to share that you have been selected for a $1,500 Qualities Community Scholarship. One of the AWC Center of Quality Community goals is to help citizens understand the important role cities and towns play in Washington. The center promotes municipal leadership, development, and civic engagement and works to support students who demonstrate community leadership and commitment to their city. This summer, you will receive further information regarding your scholarship process. Scholarship funds will be sent directly to your school, and you will be asked to provide evidence of enrollment before the scholarship funds are released. We are proud of the leader you are today and look forward to your future leadership achievements. Should you have any questions, feel free to contact Karen Tanner. Again, congratulations, and that's from the Association of Washington Cities. And Brisa Hernandez, as a mayor of the city of Pasco and this council, these are one of the things that really, really get me. This is what makes our position, our work to community service worth it. When we see young people thrive in this community, and just in a year and a half that I've been in this position, I've heard your name multiple times, and I know that you have a position on the Pasco School Board. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in your story, I read, I read your essay that you provided to the Association of Washington Cities, and I couldn't be more excited and proud to have a student like you in our city, and you represent so many wonderful students, and your leadership and the trail you're blazing for all the kids. I shouldn't say kids, young people in high school and in your community. It's just amazing, and it's just wonderful. It makes everything worth it. All the pressure that we feel as a council, it just makes it worth it to know that that we're making a difference. You are making a difference, and it's people like you that we just want to keep motivating because your story is so real. So if you don't mind to kind of sharing a little bit, and you go ahead and you can give some words if you'd like.
Sure. First of all, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for giving me this opportunity to further my application so it can hit the state level. I was very excited to even get that far and to be honored with this award. It just warms my heart. I'm super excited to be able to be attending the University of California, Berkeley in the upcoming fall. I'll be majoring in political science with a minor in education, hoping to possibly come back and work for the Pasco School District when I'm older, just serving the community here in Tri-Cities. And again, I'd just like to say just a big thank you because this is really going to help me further my education in a monetary way.
Well, Brisa Hernandez, thank you very much. And before you go very far, I would like to make note of a guest we have tonight. We have Superintendent Whitney with us tonight, and I don't know if you would like to maybe say a couple words tonight. Appreciate everything you do as Superintendent of the Pasco School Districts, and go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Martinez and members of the council. I have the extraordinary honor of watching 18,000 students excel in this community, and even a more extraordinary honor to spend time with 30 members of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, of which Brisa and 2 other student board representatives helped me run. And because I get to spend time in close proximity to our young adults in this way, I know that I'm a better person and I'm a better superintendent for having spent time with leaders like Brisa. And I can attest to Brisa's commitment to this community and her commitment to the social, emotional, and mental health and well-being of her colleagues, her student colleagues. One of the big focuses for our Superintendent Student Advisory Council throughout this pandemic has been supporting students in this virtual environment and with social isolation, and her other 2 student board reps kept mental health issues as a forefront. So just one example of Brisa living what you read in that application, but not just living it as a kind of a flying the flag of mental health issues, but from a place of deep, deep care and concern that's genuine and authentically part of who she is. And so I just couldn't be more proud and honored to have spent the last year working closely with Brisa. And I know our world will be a better place and our community will be a better place. And I am waiting for the moment in which I see her application come across my desk to be a teacher in Pasco School District. So thank you for honoring her and just getting a little bit of a window into the amazing job I have. This is just one reason why I have the best job ever. So thank you for having us tonight. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for your words, and appreciate all the work you do again, and thank you for being a leader in this community where all these young people are thriving. And, you know, I had the privilege to talk to Brisa's parents, and just as important as all this, just to see the emotions and the happiness and how proud your parents are of you, Brisa, is something that it doesn't have, you can't put a price on that kind of thing. So I just want to thank you, and I want to thank your parents for raising you the way they did. And I just want to encourage every student in the city of Pasco to thrive and to hope, because there is hope. And I want there to be an emphasis on how important $1,500 is to young people's education. It is vital for people, and it's just a wonderful thing that I get to be a part of in the Association of Washington Cities and this council. And I'll just give the council, anybody want to share anything very quickly? Or have I said enough? So with that, Brisa, thank you very much. Oh, I want to do one thing real quick. I want to present to you a little gift to you. And again, congratulations. I'd like to thank council. I hope I represented well tonight, and I know that after last week, you guys probably are out of words. So thank you very much, and again, I apologize for not being here last week, but I had a very important thing to attend. So thank you very much, and have a good evening. All right, next on the agenda, we have a presentation, a proclamation for Public Works Week, and I would like to read this proclamation very quickly. It's for Public Works Week, whereas public work services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operations of public work systems and programs such as water, sewer, streets, and highways, public buildings, and solid waste collections. And whereas the safety, health, and comfort of this great community greatly depends on these facilities and services. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, construction, and continued maintenance is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of public works employees. Whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff Public Works Department is materially influenced by the people, attitude, and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. And now, therefore, I, Saul Martinez, Mayor of the City of Pasco, Washington, do hereby proclaim May 16th through the 22nd, 2021 as Public Works Week. So with that, I know there's a gentleman in the back of the room, and before as you're coming up, if you don't mind coming up, I would like to give Dave Zabel an opportunity to give some words.
Well, actually, I believe Director Worley may be on.
Oh, is he?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, well,
Mr.
thank
Worley,
you.
go ahead.
I just wanted to kind of mention, a lot of times we go around the country and a lot of people don't know what Public Works is. So we have a real quick, like 3-minute video of what Public Works is, prepared by the association, or the American Public Works Association here in Washington State. And as you watch this, pay close attention to the credits at the very end. If you didn't catch it, that picture of the blue pipes and stuff is from one of our facilities here in Pasco. It's a great example of what Public Works does for our community. The theme for the 2021 National Public Works Week is Stronger Together. And this theme challenges our employees and citizens to think about the role Public Works plays in creating a great place to work, live, and play. And by working together, the impact citizens and Public Works professionals can have on improving their communities is magnified and results in the ability to accomplish goals once thought unattainable. So we just thank you for the proclamation, Mayor, and I just want to thank you for all of our absolutely hardworking Public Works professionals here in the city of Pasco.
Mr. Worley, Director Worley, thank you very much for that. And I just want to say real quickly, the Public Works Department works very hard. If there's a weed where it's not supposed to be, they get yelled at. It's just, the snow during the snowy seasons. But really want to appreciate today all the work that you guys do and the efforts you do. You have anything you'd like to say?
Mayor, if I could
yeah.
introduce, yeah.
Go ahead.
So, and I would also note that, Public Works would actually incorporate a part of Director Ratkai's department as well, the Parks and Rec aspect of it and the facilities aspect. So it's a pretty broad range of services that Public Works provide. So tonight, accepting the award is Dave Deshane. Dave's been with the city for 19 years. Sorry, Dave. Sorry. But I'm really excited to be able to introduce him because Dave's also the 2020 Operating Engineers Employee of the Year. So it's great to have Dave in the council chambers tonight, representing the Public Works Department, accepting the award.
All right.
I'd just like to say on behalf of all the Public Works employees that I work with, they're great to work with, and we thank all of you very much for this. Thank you.
If you'd like to present the proclamation, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and we'll just stand right here. Thank you very much. Appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank all of you.
Mr. Maloney, would you like to work? Anybody? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. And that gets us through our acknowledgements and recognitions tonight. Next on the agenda, we have visitors other than agenda items. The item is provided to allow citizens the opportunity to bring items to the attention of the City Council or to express an opinion on an issue. Its purpose is not to provide a venue or for debate or for the posing of questions with the expectation of an immediate response. Some questions require consideration by council over time and after a deliberative process with input from a number of different sources. Some questions are best directed to staff members who have access to specific information. Citizens' comments will normally be limited to 3 minutes, each by the mayor. Those with lengthy messages are invited to summarize their comments and or submit written information for consideration by the council outside of formal meetings. So with that, is there anybody tonight that has anything they'd like to discuss that's not on the agenda tonight? I'm not seeing anybody. We will move right along into item number 7. Reports from committees and or officers. Council, anybody would have anything to share? Yes, Councilmember Alvarado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just following up on a thank you from the Ben Franklin Transit. We had our board meeting last week, and I'm just happy to say that the board approved for the 2 projects that they have been requesting federal funds from their earmark process for. One is the West Pasco Transit Hub, and the second is the 22nd Street Transit Center. Those are 2 great projects for transit that will allow them to really improve the services here in Pasco. And so those will be coming here shortly. They were approved by the board to go into the capital improvement plan. And so just happy to report that. Again, a thank you from those at Benton Franklin Transit for our endorsement of these projects to be able to get these federal dollars.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilmember Alvarado. Thank you for all your your efforts there and what you do, attending all those meetings. We appreciate it very much. Anyone else? Okay, well, I would just like to report very quickly. I spent Friday meeting with one of the developers that we have here in the city of Pasco, and also met with the mayor of Grandview, Mayor Gloria Mendoza. And basically, they just got together so that we could share a little bit of what our cities are doing, how the development's going, and some of the challenges and the pros and cons to all the activities that take place, and what is actually happening in the Tri-Cities and in Pasco specifically with our developments, and how we work conjunction with the cities and the developers, and how we're trying to organize and just make the system better so that growth can go more smoothly. And we all know that with the rapid growth that we're experiencing here in Pasco, we got to share one another's experiences, and I would like to hope that she would learn a lot, and I learned a lot from what's happening. And I got to tell you, Grandview is much smaller than Pasco perhaps, but there was still some things that it kind of takes you back to your roots, and really helped out in some issues and the information that she provided, and hopefully we did the same to her. And RP Development was the developer who was driving us around looking at different places. It was really nice because I got to see a lot of the developments going on, the new streets that I haven't been on myself, and got to see how the city and the developers are working in conjunction, and got just a lot more insight when you see what we do here on a weekly basis. So it was very informative, and it was a good experience. So with that, and as well as some of the other meetings that I attended, just to keep up on the information and all the information that the governor is providing us on vaccinations and the phases and where we're going. But other than that, that's all I had. Anybody else? Okay, then we'll move right along into the next item, which is hearing and council actions on ordinances and resolutions relating thereto, none listed, and ordinances and resolutions not relating to hearings. And the first one we have is a resolution, segregation of local improvement districts, the LID assessment. And with that, Director Richa Signal, are you on the line tonight?
Yes, I am. Evening, Mayor and Council. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good evening.
That seems to be the way to start every meeting now, so I appreciate that. This is a fairly standard ordinance. Usually it comes to you when we have a local improvement district, and we have one that is very active right now, which is our Chapel Hill area. And what happens is usually you put in an assessment initially when you pass the ordinance or the LID itself on a larger piece of land. And as those lands are platted and subdivided into homes, this ordinance essentially subdivides the assessment that was on the larger piece of land into the pieces of the residences that are being built. This was a piece of land that was a plot that was platted some time ago, and we are essentially asking for council's approval to separate the assessments to those plats as well.
All right, well, thank you for that, Director Richa. So with that, is there any council comments or questions before we go to a motion? If not, Mayor Pro Tem, would you like to entertain a motion?
Absolutely. I move to approve resolution number 4060 relating to local improvement district number 150, providing for the segregation of assessments for certain parcels consistent with RCW 35.44.410 and ratifying the confirming prior acts.
Wonderful. So there's been a motion to approve resolution number 4060. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. Seconded by Councilmember Maloney. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, passes unanimously. Thank you for that. Next, we go to item B, resolution for sole source approval for Paul filters and associated equipment for West Pasco Water plant, Pasco Water Treatment Plant. Director Worley, are you on the line?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. This issue for the wastewater treatment plant, I am going to turn over to our CIP manager, Maria Serra.
Good evening.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. My mistake. I was reading ahead in the agenda. This is for the West Pasco water treatment plant item on the Paul filters. So for that one, I will turn over to our CIP manager, Maria Serra.
Good evening, Maria Sarah. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Well, we are presenting to you today a sole source request for you to consider and hopefully approve for our West Pasco water treatment plant. And this is phase 1 improvements to that plant. This membrane system, it's a membrane filtration system that we are proposing to install. It would be a system that is, I'm so sorry. It is a system that it is consistent and compatible with the existing system that we have in that plant. And currently the plant is operating at 6 million gallons production of potable water. And the installation of this new expanded filter would allow us to upgrade our production to 12 million gallons. As you may have seen, utilizing the same system would allow us to maintain the layout that has been already prepared for the plant as part of the original design of the plant. And I wanted to mention that during the original design in 2009, there was a competitive selection process to define which type of filter were we going to be using in that plant. Paul was the one that was selected. Therefore, we would be consistent with the original design if we were to continue to utilize this system. We anticipate the cost of this new rack of filters would be under $2 million. And of course, we would not be just purchasing this system, but it would be part of our plans and specifications for a contractor to install the system once the project goes out to bid. And with that, if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Well, thank you very much, Maria Sarah. Any questions from council? No? Well, I appreciate that very much. So with that, would you like to entertain a motion, Mayor Pro Tem?
Absolutely. I move to approve resolution number 4061, waiving the competitive bidding requirements and approving the purchase of Paul membrane filtration quad racks, Paul rack, from Paul Water, a division of Paul Corporation, for the West Pasco Municipal Water Treatment Plant, WPWTP.
Thank you for that motion. So do I hear a second for that motion? I'll second that. Councilmember Milne seconds that motion. So if there's no further discussion on this item, then all those in favor of approving resolution number 4061 signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. It passes unanimously. Thank you. Next on the item was something similar with the wastewater treatment plant. It's a bid award for phase 1 rebid. Director Worley, do you want to go ahead and start it off again?
You bet. This is for the wastewater treatment plant. And you may recall that we canceled the previous bids. And I am going to let Maria describe to you what has taken place since we rejected the previous set of bids.
Okay.
Good evening again. As Steve Worley mentioned, we are going to talk about a bid award, and this is the rebid of wastewater treatment plant phase 1 improvements. Since we rejected bids, we work with our consultant and our legal team to revise sections of our bidder responsibility criteria. And we also made some minor technical changes to our bid documents, and we re-advertised for bids. We actually advertised in, and I wrote it down so I don't remember. I can always look. We re-advertised on April 9 and open bids on May 7. We received 2 bids. The lowest bidder was Clearwater Construction and Management. Their bid was $17 $937,787.80. Our engineer's estimate was $22.4 million approximately. And we found no exemptions or irregularities in the bid, and there were no protests.
Wonderful. Well, it's always favorable to the city of Pasco when it comes in that low under the bid that our city staff had come up with. Any questions or comments from council? If not, Mayor Pro Tem, would you like to entertain the motion?
I move to approve resolution number 4062, awarding bid number 19072 for the wastewater treatment plant improvements Phase 1 Project 2, Clearwater Construction and Management of Spokane, Washington, in the amount of $17,937,787.80, including Washington State sales tax, and further authorize the city manager to execute the contract documents and allowing all necessary budget adjustments.
So there's been a motion to approve resolution number 4062, and it's been seconded by Councilmember Alvarado. I just have a quick question before we go to the vote. Have we used Clearwater Construction and Management before? Either.
Yes, we have.
We have, Director Worley?
Yes, we have.
Okay. All right, good. Well, I just wanted to get a good feeling for, their reputation and working with them in the past. So that's all the question that I had. So with that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Zara? Councilmember Roach?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed, same sign? All right, it passes unanimously. Thank you. Next is item D, and it's a resolution acceptance of American Rescue Plan Act. Director Rita Sigdel, would you like to kick this one off?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and evening, Council. This is the funding that we've been waiting for some time. We have finally gotten most of the details from Department of Treasury on how these funding can be expended. We were allocated in the very beginning, like I mentioned last week, about $18.4 million over the calendar year 2021 and 2022. However, as the bill made its way through the Senate and the House, some of the allocation percentages were changed, and ours got reduced by about $1 million. So the final allocation for the city of Pasco is $17.4 million. Councilmember Maloney just recently emailed me and asked me a question on some of our partners as well. And our county is getting about $18.4 million or $3 million. I do not believe that Port of Pasco will be receiving any allocation directly through this pot of money. This is $350 billion that is going to local and tribal governments, cities, counties, and some other agencies, but not necessarily to Port. But I do believe that our airport is getting some funding, and I can definitely get the details and report back to council next week on that, and see what some of our other partners are also receiving through this act altogether. CARES Fund was a little bit different in that it just showed up in our bank account. However, with these funds, they are treating it like any federal grant, and we have to go through quite a restrictive process to verify our identities. For example, the process that I've gone through is my driver's license, my passport, social security, and then an appointment with somebody in IRS, a video appointment kind of showing all of those documents. So the last step is a resolution from council allowing our city manager, Mr. Zabel, and I to act on your behalf, on behalf of the city, to accept the funds, and that is the resolution that is in front of you today.
Well, thank you, Director Richa Sigdal. I know it's a big responsibility, and I just hope the community realizes, this is the city of Pasco being responsible and making sure that we distribute this money appropriately so that we don't have any issues. But again, it's to help our community members and our businesses and those people who qualify for this assistance, and appreciate all the work going on here. And this is one of those deals where you did say that we already received the funds. Is that right, Director Richa?
No, once this resolution is signed, I will be requesting the funds. This would be my last paper or document required to do so. And we would only receive 50% of the $17.4 million, and the remainder of the funds will be coming to us within 12 months. We do not know exactly when, but within 12 months, so we can expect it at least by May of next year.
But it is guaranteed that we'll receive those funds.
That is correct, yes.
Thank you very much. So with that, any questions or comments from the council? Mayor Pro Tem Barajas.
Actually didn't have a question.
Oh, okay, let's go over here to Councilmember Maloney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My question is, I know we talked, a month ago or so that we were going to have potentially a mini retreat or some other conversation about what the best directions are to allocate some of this funding. I know we were very much waiting for the final guidance, and I was reading through that, over the weekend. But I don't think I've yet had any outreach to determine when my availability might be. So I guess, Mr. Zabel, could you update us on how we plan on coming together as to how we want to allocate this money?
Yeah, so my plan was, based on some of the discussions we'd had previously with the council. As you're aware, we received the regs last week, and we've been in the process of evaluating those. And they're, if you've looked at them, they're pretty lengthy. And so we want to have a good handle as to what's allowed and what isn't. While we're doing that, we're also in the process of scanning other assistant programs that are out there in an effort to kind of lessen the chance of redundancy. We want to make sure that we're not putting money where there already is money. And then also we've coordinated with, I think it was early last week, we'd had a meeting with a number of other local governments around kind of getting a sense of where they're going with, or what their at least their preliminary thinking are. So we'll continue coordinating with those, particularly Franklin County, in their efforts. And then my hope was next week also to have that, so bringing this to council next week in terms of where we're at with these items, as well as a proposed outreach effort. If, I'm assuming council will want to find a way to try to get some public input, whether that's through council meetings or some sort of campaign electronically, however we want to do it, to kind of see where the greatest need is. And then once you have that kind of information, perhaps be available to, as you say, either a special workshop, whether that might be on a different evening for a couple hours or a Saturday morning for a few hours, to try to work through, look through all that information and make some determinations on how you might want to allocate those dollars. The other piece, and I'll have staff upset with me if I don't mention this, is there's also needs that staff feel that council may want to consider, in terms of capital projects and so forth for some of these dollars as well. So
I appreciate the additional information. I guess where my thought process is, we knew this money was coming, and right now I feel like we're kind of without a plan, even a general direction. And I was really hoping we were going to be able to take the time before the money hit our banks to start planning some of this out. I would hate for our bureaucracy to hold up helping the people that need help right now. And we're talking about, end of June is kind of what the target is right now for being able to, well, according to the governor, to be able to be kind of sort of return to normal, at least for those who are fully vaccinated. And so, when I'm looking at some of that, what my concern is that at some point, things like the eviction moratoriums, not sending various things to collections, like as, for example, we are doing as a city. So some of those bills will come due, and I'm very concerned that if we don't act promptly, that we're going to have people out on the street, living in their cars, and being evicted from their houses and foreclosed on their houses. So that's why I would hope that we can at least find what stuff we need to make sure that people don't end up in that situation, and perhaps we can move quickly on those things, even if we are still working on planning the rest of the funds. For example, I believe that we can probably be very thoughtful about capital improvements. I mean, obviously it's a short window, but not that short. But people losing their houses is close. People losing their businesses is close, and that's my biggest concern. So I don't want our bureaucracy to get in the way of helping people with that. So I guess that's just my soapbox rant. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Maloney. Anyone else? Okay, then, Mayor Pro Tem.
Absolutely. I move to approve resolution number 4063, accepting the City of Pasco's allocation from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 funding for coronavirus relief funds for local government, and authorizing the city manager or his designee authority to legally bind the City of Pasco, Washington for the sole purpose of requesting federal reimbursement.
All right, so we have a motion to approve resolution number 4063. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Councilmember Roach. So with that, if there's no further comments or questions, then all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes unanimously. All right, thank you for that, and hopefully we can get on the ball, and I do feel the sentiments as well, so we'll try to get on that. Next,
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes, go ahead, Councilmember Roach.
Am I coming in really loud on the volume?
Right there is perfect, actually.
Okay. I haven't changed the distance from the iPad at all. I'm just regulating my voice, I guess, because I noticed that Craig looked like he was dodging something. No? Okay. Just checking.
Oh, so you're good?
I'm
just
good. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't blowing out your eardrums over there.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Roach. All right, so next we go to item 10 of our agenda, unfinished business, and there's none listed. And we have new business, none listed, and then we'll go to miscellaneous discussion. So does anybody have any, City Manager Dave Zabel?
I did just have a few things, and I know council's looking at this pretty closely as well, with the surge we had in numbers on COVID positives, and as quickly as that went up, it's almost come down just as quickly under 200 cases per 100,000. So I think that's really good news for the community. Vaccinations continue out at the MassVac site, although not the numbers we saw a few weeks ago. But did want to note, again, in town we had some efforts on over the weekend at Pasco Farmers Market, CBC West, and Lakeview Mobile Home. Altogether, I think 240 vaccinations just from those three sites, in addition to what MassVac site stuff was. And then a reminder, Memorial Day ceremony with the Veteran Wall dedication at 11 a.m. May 31st at the City View Cemetery. Obviously, there'll be social distancing and other precautions taken related to COVID. So I didn't have anything else beyond that.
Wonderful. So if there's nobody else,
Just a quick follow-up on the Lakeview event, the little pop-up vaccination that we organized out there. For a community that did not have the information, specifically in Spanish, and the fear, the supposed fear regarding the Johnson & Johnson vaccination, that was the top pick of the two choices that they had out there. And 64 individuals came out to get vaccinated. Some people were turned away because they already had waited too long after their first vaccine for their second one, and other issues. But I was very amazed that we had 64 people come out and get vaccinated out of Lakeview. Yeah.
Thank you for that report, Mayor Pro Tem, and I have to express my apologies. I was going to be there, but I had to leave town. Because I actually want to support, as much as I can, and I know you had asked me to go, but I couldn't make it. I had to leave town, so I apologize for that. And again, you know, we're just trying to get to a place where we can put what we're facing behind us and get closer and closer to what we can say is normal. And yeah, that's what we're shooting for. And yes, Councilmember Maloney.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Zabel, just one quick question. With the CDC vaccinations, doing that at the CDC West, the testing and vaccinations, what are the hours on that? Could you remind me, if you remember, or maybe Chief Gear's on, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to defer to Chief Gear, and I know he is on, but he's taking a couple of days of well-needed and deserved vacation. So he's actually watching us from his cabin, you know, up in the blues. So.
If I'm not mistaken, that's from 8:30 to 4. I could be mistaken, but that's what the reader says out there.
And that's supposed to be 7 days a week?
Not sure if it's 7 days a week.
I've had a number of questions about people who want to get in, but during the week it's just so hard for some people during those business hours, especially when they're looking at, now they've extended it down towards school-aged kids through as young as 12. Now it's hard for some people to get there before 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday. So that's why I was trying to hope that we could maybe have that information. So
I will tell you, Councilmember Maloney, that they are open Saturdays and Sundays.
Great.
I know that for a fact because I seen them there. I seen, I believe this weekend on Saturday, I saw 2 bus loads actually show up to be tested.
I believe Chief Dunbar may be on. So.
Okay. Chief,
Yes, can you hear me, Council?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, the Mass Vac site works Tuesday through Saturday, and we do have 2 days that are go till 8 p.m. And then we've also got several pop-up vaccination sites over the next 4 days, one being the farmer's market. I know we're planning one at the Supermex on Friday, I believe from 2 to 3 in the afternoon, or 1 to 3 in the afternoon. And there's 2 others that I can't remember off the top of my head. So yes, we are working on trying to get the later hours, at least 2 nights of the week at the Mass Vac site so we can accommodate those different hours. And that's kind of where we're at with that.
And if I could just add real quick to what Chief Dunbar was saying, these other pop-up vaccination sites are not requiring prior registration or appointment making, and usually they're on the weekend. So if anyone is having troubles or issues getting an appointment, be sure to check out the Health District's website. They have the list of the locations of the pop-up sites.
Okay, thank you for that, Mayor Pro Tem. Were you talking the vaccination sites or the testing sites?
vaccination.
Okay, got it. Then I misspoke. They have testing going on Sundays over here at CBC.
And I think our approval in our consent agenda today actually expands some of the contract with the CBC West. And so I was trying to get an idea better of if we could have it succinctly put, so just anyone watching could really understand where this is at. So it sounds like we have a little bit of maybe consolidation of information that would be beneficial and maybe get out on our Facebook page and out in social media and other things. So that might just be useful just to get it all in one spot, because there's so many different good things that the community is doing in a variety of ways. And being able to get all that information in one spot will make it easier for people to take advantage of these services. So that's what I want to know. So thank you all for, I think between all of us, I think we pieced it all together. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Maloney, for that. So with that, that's the end of our miscellaneous discussion. And next we go to item 13, and there is, to my knowledge, a need for an executive session tonight. How many minutes did we need for the executive session tonight?
I think about 15 minutes ought to be sufficient.
And will there be any
No action.
No actions
No
being
action
made. So we the council will be going into executive session. It is 7:50, and we'll be in executive session for approximately 15 minutes, and we'll come back and to adjourn the meeting. So with that, thank you everyone for coming at this time, and we'll now be going into executive session. Thank you. Okay, we are now back from executive session, and it is 8:06, and this meeting is now adjourned. So thank you, community, and we'll see you next week.